Hi everyone, and welcome to this beginner's programming tutorial. This is a tutorial series that is aimed at people who are completely new to programming. This series will be structured into 15 parts, and in each part we will discuss an important programming concept. At the end of this series, we will have made a fully functioning game. This is, as some of you might know, a clone of the classic game Breakout. When the ball bounces against a brick, that brick breaks. If the ball reaches the bottom of the screen, you die. You try to prevent the ball from reaching the bottom by using the paddle at the bottom of the screen, which is controlled by the mouse. To make this game, we will be using an open source, free programming environment called Processing. Processing is often used to program visual and interactive tools, such as the game I just showed you. First, we will need to install Processing. So you will need to open your browser and go to processing.org. This is a site where you can read about the language and find all kinds of cool examples and other tutorials. But for now, we're only interested in the big download link. Clicking this link will take you to the downloads page. Choose the right download for your system, but if you're in Windows 10, you'll probably need to pick the topmost option. Clicking this link will start downloading a .zip file. Now, I've already downloaded this zip file, so I won't download it again. Once the download is completed, we can unpack the zip file anywhere we like, but please remember where you put it. I will put mine on my desktop, first the zip, and then extract it also here. And once the zip is extracted, the installation of Processing is now complete. To start the Processing editor, you go into the folder you just created and you double-click the Processing executable. For Windows, this is processing.exe. It might also be useful if you're on Windows to add a shortcut to your taskbar or Start menu. Now that we have Processing installed and the Processing code editor opened, we're ready to learn how to use it and also make our very first program. So the Processing code editor has a very minimalistic design. You type any code we want to execute in the white text area. And when we're done typing this code, we can execute it using the play button on the top left. The stop button next to it stops any code that is currently running. At the bottom of the screen, we have the black area, which is the so-called console. This is where any text output will show. Now in programming, it has become a sort of custom to always make a Hello World program as your very first application. And since I don't see the value in breaking away from tradition, let's do the same thing. In the editor area, type the following code. Print line, ln. So print ln, which is a shorthand version of print line. This tells the computer to output what comes next to the console. Next, we open the parentheses, open double quotation marks, and type what we want to show. In this case, this is Hello World. Then we close the double quotation mark, close the parentheses, and end this line with a semicolon. Now, if we run this code, you will see, as expected, in the console down below the words Hello World. Now let's go over what we just did. We let the computer know, using the print line function, that we want to output whatever is in between these parentheses. In between the parentheses, we have the literal text, which is indicated by quotation marks, Hello World. We can change this to anything else like Hello YouTube or Hello Viewer. Then we end that line of code with a semicolon, because in Processing, as in most other programming languages, every instruction you give the computer should end with a semicolon. This is a very strict rule, and as you can see, Processing will start shouting at you in the red text here if you take away the semicolon. So, to recap, in this episode we have learned what Processing is, we've installed it and used it to write our very first program. Our first program prints some literal text to the output console, and we know how to change that text. We also learned that every command to the computer should end with a semicolon. Now, this is of course all very static, so the next episode we'll have a look at variables.